Pregnancy is not a disease.
So it's the initial phase. The pregnancy is actually getting implanted and growing. That's why it is called as a delicate phase. Also, your body is having new changes. The mother's getting accustomed to the placental hormones. So a lot of symptoms can happen.
I remember when I got pregnant, I really loved my black coffee.
2 cups. So your tea, coffee, green tea put together should be about 2 cups in a day. A person can do everything that she did earlier, just that they have to be more aware of themselves.
The moment you told this temporary, already my anxiety came down to 50%.
It's called as the honeymoon period of pregnancy.
It's a blessing. And as ma'am said, just listen to your body.
It is important how much effort you made. It's important you and the baby are absolutely fine. That's the only thing that matters.
If we have been given the ability to give birth to a child, we definitely have the ability to nurture the little one, bring him or her into this world. It is said that motherhood is the only phase where you can experience heaven and hurricane at the same time. But before the first step, and even before the first heartbeat is heard, there's a journey of transition from womanhood to motherhood that requires more than just medical advice. It requires a steady hand and a compassionate soul. Today, I'm sitting with a legend in women's healthcare. With over 35 plus years of clinical wisdom, Dr. Preeti Agarwal is the medical director of gynecology at Motherhood Hospitals, Gurgaon. She believes in empowering women through education, preventive care, and modern treatments so that they can lead a healthier and a happier lives. Welcome to the show, Dr. Preeti.
Thank you. Thank you, Berg.
So this is a very beautiful 12-part docu-series in which we've decided to work along with the gynecologists and the pediatricians and to understand what actually happens when you embark on the journey of becoming parents.
Right.
As you know, our generation, we like to know it all. We would go to AI, we would go to Instagram Reels and ask all the Parosi aunties. But when a couple decides that they are ready to have a baby, what should we be doing?
So it's really important if the couple seek the right kind of advice at this time. So it's good to visit a doctor,
Okay.
a gynecologist preferably. It's good to do your general set of tests that they normally recommend. So normally when you'd go to a gynecologist and you would be planning a pregnancy, they would ask you a few questions. They'd like to know your history. They'd like to know what kind of periods you're getting. They'd also like to know more about any problems you've had till now in terms of any medical history, any relevant family history. They might prescribe a set of tests to you just to check that everything is okay. And they would also like to give you some advice. So one of the most important advice is just a few precautions that we need to take when we're planning a pregnancy. So normally most of us are working, and the lifestyle today, because we are so busy, there's no time to exercise or take care of your diet. But when you're planning a pregnancy, that's perhaps the healthiest period of your life that you're embarking upon. And you have to take care of a little one growing inside you. So it's very relevant that you take a few precautions during this time. So it is important that there should be no alcohol smoking. There should be less of it or no aerated drinks, less of caffeine in your diet, a very healthy diet plan, and some regular exercise would always bring stress levels down and help the hormones of your body. So they perhaps prescribe a set of tests also, just to check the general status of your health, and at the same time also to know that there are no problems that can be handled beforehand. So these could be tests which would be related to your hormones, to your hemoglobin, to your thyroid, to your blood sugar. They might do one scan just to check that everything's okay with the uterus, ovaries, and also a semen analysis for your spouse would be a good idea to do because he's also equal partner. So both of you should go together and they give you some general advice. But when we do that, then we're planning a pregnancy very well and there are lesser chances of problems. And anything small that needs to be taken care of is well taken care of. Also important is at this time to start taking folic acid, which is a vitamin, which is required for the brain development of the baby and which is not enough in our diet at times. So that's a good idea that we start it also at the same time.
Yeah. And I believe this is so relevant, and a very big problem could be avoided by just taking small things and taking care of small things in here.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yes, I think it's a very vital step to consult an expert before we start planning. And it is nothing to fear. Reaching out to a medical expert is not when we are already into the problem. We should do that beforehand, right?
Do that beforehand, yeah.
Okay. So we met the doctor, everything was fine. We started planning for the baby, and it's 6 to 7 weeks, and it's a missed period.
Wow.
We did the pregnancy test, and it turned out to be positive. What should we do next?
I think you should visit the doctor. That's important because a urine pregnancy test needs to be confirmed by a blood pregnancy test or some other investigations
Right.
that the doctor requires. So the first thing would be to go ahead and visit the doctor.
Because I believe during this time, the goosebumps are at their highest.
True.
I remember my time that we were over the cloud, but still we were not confirmed. And we just tried checking in with our gynecologist that when is the earliest time slot available so that we could just go ahead and get it confirmed. Okay. So, ma'am, it is said that the first trimester, it's a very delicate phase. Why is that so?
So it's the initial phase. The pregnancy is actually getting implanted, and that's why it is called as a delicate phase of the pregnancy. Also, your body is having new changes in this time because the mother's getting accustomed to the placental hormones. So there are a lot of symptoms that can happen. So that also is the reason that she finds everything so new. Sometimes she's scared and she's apprehensive with the things that are happening.
Right.
But it's a little time where we need to take care, be a little more cautious in what we are doing. So it's not that we can't do everything. We can continue to be working and all, but at the same time, exerting a little caution is a good idea.
Okay, I get it. And we stay in India. It's a very culturally diverse country, and there are so many myths surrounding this. It is said that you should be completely doing either a bed rest. Is that true?
No, that's only required in some pregnancies, where if the mother has some bleeding, spotting, that we might tell them restricted activity or not even bed rest at times. But otherwise, a person can do everything that she did earlier, just that they have to be more aware of themselves. So whenever they feel tired, exhausted, they take a break, take rest, and then resume that activity. But there's really nothing that they cannot do as such. They just need to take care.
So, ma'am, during the first trimester, are there any red flags which we should be watchful about?
Yeah, definitely. There are a few red flags where you need to be careful, visit your doctor at the hospital. So those are like if you have any abdominal pain or discomfort which does not settle down on rest, or you have any spotting or bleeding, then it is a good idea to visit your doctor.
To immediately go to the doctor?
Absolutely. Also, there will be some in the first trimester. You should not be using all medications on your own. For example, you have a headache, you have a fever, so you can ask your doctor for safe medications. But if there's a problem persisting, any medical problem, it's a good idea to visit your doctor, take proper advice, and then take medication.
So, ma'am, asking a couple of questions which are myths, and this is something since I do pregnancy photo shoots, I keep meeting a lot of people who are pregnant, and I keep hearing interesting things. There was this person who told me that she's been advised not to use perfumes at all. So is it true?
So we just want to tell people not to use too many chemicals. So maybe the doctor was feeling that way, but otherwise you could go into body mists and more natural fragrances and use them. Don't use too much of chemical perfumes or something is perhaps what's...
Which eventually also, I'm sure it would be that too many chemicals might lead to causing nausea and things like those, right? Okay. So, ma'am, is hair color okay to be done during pregnancy, or should we completely avoid that?
No, hair color or little root touch-up and all is fine. But doing other treatments which require more chemicals like keratin and all, those can be avoided.
Those can be certainly avoided. I have heard a very weird thing that you should not be having Karela the moment you get pregnant. Is it actually true?
No, all vegetables, all spices in moderation. Everything is good to have in pregnancy. It's not, there are no restrictions as such.
Are there any food items which we should completely avoid the moment we get pregnant?
It's only Ajinomoto that you need to take care of. Too much of caffeine and aerated drinks, no alcohol smoking. But apart from that, there's nothing else really that you need to completely avoid.
And how much caffeine is allowed? Because I remember when I got pregnant, I really loved my black coffee. And of course, I think it was limited to maybe 1 cup or 2 cup a day.
2 cups. So your tea, coffee, green tea put together should be about 2 cups in a day, not more than that.
Which is also fine. We are not getting rid of coffee completely, guys, which is good. We've still got a go ahead of 2 cups.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, last question with respect to the first trimester, the nausea. And that's a very difficult stage because I faced it myself. So, what should one do when one is facing a lot of nausea during this phase?
Nausea is a symptom that some people do face because they're getting exposed to the baby's hormones for the first time. So the first thing to understand is that it is only temporary. It's not going to last you. The second thing that really helps is to have small, frequent meals and keep yourself well hydrated. So some people will have nausea early in the morning, some will have it more in the evening.
Yeah.
We see more people having more in the evening, but if you have an early morning nausea, then the good thing to do is that you can brush before you sleep. Don't rush first thing in the morning. Don't have a liquid first thing in the morning. You can have a veggie cracker or a piece of toast or maybe a biscuit that you like and then begin your day. So don't rush, brush after some time and don't drink a glass of liquid, just sip on a liquid. Have small and frequent meals. There's some safe medications that your doctor will prescribe, which you can take the night before, after getting up. Also, there are things like home remedies, like little ginger that you can use. So there's ginger candy, or you can make yourself a ginger tea, which helps. But doing small meals, frequent meals, is the best thing. And if you're having more evening nausea, then you can eat better in the first half of the day and keep the second half a little lighter. But I'm sure if you talk to your doctor, they'll prescribe some safe medications which would help you. So just to understand that it is temporary and to do these small things will help.
And I think that's actually a very wonderful thing because the moment you told me that, okay, it is temporary, already my anxiety came down to 50%.
True.
And all the things. So I was someone who had early morning nausea and real bad nausea. And initially, I was facing a lot of trouble. But then I exactly did the same things which you just told. And they helped miraculously. And taking care of you, like the ginger water. I used to have ginger water, sip it through the day. And taking care of those small things, they can save you so much of trouble. So in this thing, ma'am, there's one question. I used to have a friend and she had extreme nausea throughout her pregnancy. And somewhere she heard that one should not be having any medications. And she would not have that. She would go and puke 5 times a day and just lie on her bed, thinking that she's doing good for the baby. Is that right, ma'am?
No, that's not right, actually. It's always good to take medical advice. If you're having so much of nausea, then some tests need to be done, some checks need to be done, and some general measures, and there's safe medications which would help. Very rare people, yes, they're very anxious, they're very apprehensive, and they would have nausea which continues. So some meals can be prescribed, the nutritionist can help you. Sometimes your diet plan can be altered a little bit to see that you're not having too much of acidity and you're not vomiting. Safe medications can be used. So there's always a solution. You just need to look for it.
And then you very rightly said that if a medication is being prescribed by the expert, then why not?
Yeah.
So, ma'am, first trimester, we are almost through the first trimester. When does the next scan happen?
So there's a very important scan that happens. One should happen somewhere around 7 to 8 weeks. We document the heartbeat of the baby, check on the baby. That's an important scan.
Right.
But there's an even more important scan which happens at the end of the first, nearly the end of the first trimester, around 12 weeks, which is an important scan where we are checking the baby for any early anomalies and we are doing a few more checks. So that's called as the level 1 scan.
Okay.
And everybody should get it done and not miss it.
Okay. And that's when we get to see if the baby is growing properly and if everything is fine with the mother and the baby both. So, ma'am, our L1 scan was fine and we entered the second trimester. And I remember this was exactly the time when I started my workouts with a prenatal expert.
Okay.
And she was amazing, very well trained, and I was doing my workouts. But it was being asked by the elders at home, is it safe? And few of the aunties also told me, no, you should not be working out. It's not safe for the baby. But this is all myth. I would really want to ask you that is it safe to work out during pregnancy?
I think the only thing is you should check with your doctor once. But apart from that, exercising in pregnancy is always good. And there are quite a few things that you can do. So working up with a birthing instructor or a prenatal physiotherapist is a very good idea to do. And as long as your doctor tells you that she's comfortable with your ultrasound and you can work out, it's a very good idea.
Okay. And ma'am, physical activities, say like swimming, or if someone is into running, and of course, if we take a go-ahead from our doctor, is it fine to continue with all of those?
So swimming is a good exercise to do in pregnancy, but normally we otherwise tell you to do moderate exercise. So running might not be a good idea for everybody, but at the same time, you can do a brisk walk. There's pregnancy Pilates, there's pregnancy yoga that can be done. Swimming is absolutely safe. So you can do all these exercises in pregnancy.
And I believe kids do enjoy swimming. Just telling from my experience, my daughter, she's now 4.5.
Yeah.
I was never into swimming, but whenever I would take a hot water bath, the movements would increase so much whenever I would dip myself into that.
Yes.
And till date, she absolutely loves
The
soaking
water.
in the bathtub. So ma'am, what's the next scan we should be prepared for after the L1 scan?
So the next scan is an important scan that we do at 20 weeks called the level 2 scan.
Okay.
This is in fact the most important scan in pregnancy. It's here that we are checking the baby from head to toe.
Okay.
In fact, we say that every finger of the baby is counted. There are lots of dimensions in the brain which are checked. The baby's stomach, kidneys, bladder, urinary bladder, everything is checked in the scan in great detail. There are lots of dimensions in all these parts which are checked to ascertain that everything is going normal. So that's the most important scan.
And I think a very beautiful scan for us as parents as well, because that's when we get to see the shape of the baby for the first time and get to see the baby move.
Absolutely. I think the level 1 also is a very beautiful scan because you can see the baby very well. Today's technology and everything.
That's true.
And yes,
That's
L2 also.
So ma'am, in the second trimester, what exactly is happening in our body?
So second trimester is in fact a very good part of the pregnancy. You've already moved from the first trimester. So you've moved from all the symptoms of nausea, vomiting, or all those are over. And also you're not that big that you're feeling uncomfortable.
Right.
So it's in fact, and your appetite also comes back. So in fact, it's called as the honeymoon period of pregnancy.
Exactly. That's the word which I was waiting to hear.
So this is the time when, as you said, you want to exercise, you can start doing that. You start feeling hungry. So you can get yourself a good diet plan. You can consult a nutritionist. You can also, 5th to 7th month is relatively a period where you can travel also after checking with your doctor. So it's a comfortable phase in pregnancy, and that's how second trimester is easy and comfortable, and the patients are happy in that trimester. But they still need to take care of all small things about their diet and exercise.
And I believe this is the phase wherein we are so anxious to see the baby bump grow. Because the moment we are wearing something which is oversized, that's when we start hearing, your baby bump is not even showing, you don't even look pregnant. And then the anxiety builds in. And so I believe, when does the baby bump start showing?
Baby bump will normally show after 20 weeks of pregnancy. Most of the people around 22 weeks of pregnancy is when the baby bump starts really showing.
Okay. And ma'am, after this, is there any next scan which we should be prepared for as a couple?
Yes, so there's some scans which are done to check on the growth of the baby. Normally, one scan is always done between 28 to 30 or 32 weeks of pregnancy, just to check on the growth, check on the blood flows. This is called as the 3rd trimester growth scan. So that's important. And most of the times one will be done in the pre-delivery phase also. In some pregnancies which require more special care according to situations, can be repeated in between according to the requirement.
Otherwise, after this, like 28 to 32 week scan, largely if everything is going fine with us, we are good to go and proceed.
One scan, pre-delivery is normally done.
And when's that scan done, ma'am?
That's normally done around 37, 38 weeks of pregnancy.
We are nearing the due date, guys. Ma'am, with respect to pregnancy, I remember my phase. I was working, I was doing photo shoots, and I was working till the very end. And I've seen some women who would really want to work, but then because of the societal pressure, they're not able to, because they're being told that no, you should not be working a lot, you should not be traveling to the office. And everything was fine with her. What is your take on this?
No, if everything is fine with her, then she can definitely continue to go to the office or take care. The only thing is, as we talked earlier, I said just listen to your body.
Right.
So you feel very exhausted, you feel very tired, you can take a break for a day and resume that. You can manage a hybrid thing where you go 2-3 days and you can, if you're very close to your due date and things. But I think for the most part, till about 36-37 weeks, there should not be a problem. And if you have a completely healthy pregnancy, it should not be an issue at all.
Very well said, because what I also believe that pregnancy is not a disease, it's a blessing. And as ma'am said, that during this phase, just listen to your body, because you listen to your body and listen to your doctor. I think two things is what we need to take care, and rest everything falls into place. Okay, so ma'am, I'm very excited to hear this part. When does the baby arrive?
So the baby can arrive normally any time after 37 weeks of pregnancy, but most between 38 to 40 weeks of pregnancy.
So ma'am, this is from my personal experience that if a mom is unable to opt for a natural birth because of the baby is in breech position or any other medical condition, should she be feeling sad about it?
I don't think so, no. At the end of the story, it's more important that the mother and the baby are okay. And there will be some conditions where we cannot put the mother, through a natural birthing process. So like you said, you had a breech position, there can be a transverse lie, there can be a low-lying placenta, right? So there are some conditions where trying a normal delivery is unsafe for the mother and the baby. Also, labor by itself is a very dynamic thing which happens. So all the time that labor is happening, we're monitoring the baby, we're monitoring the mother. And if at any stage we feel that either the mother or the baby are at some kind of risk, we might need to take a decision for a cesarean section. So it's not important. It is important how much effort you made. It's important that at the end of the health of the pregnancy, you and the baby are absolutely fine. That's the only thing that matters, right?
Very well said, ma'am, because as you said, it's just a mode of delivery, and eventually the paramount important thing is your safety and the baby's safety.
Yeah.
So don't let anyone dishearten you that you did not try. You tried your best. You are an amazing person. And of course, you need to trust the expert and trust yourself. A very beautiful answer, and I'm sure it is going to help a lot of moms, because as moms, I believe the mental health is something which we need to take care of the most. So if we go for a normal delivery versus a cesarean delivery, is the recovery time different?
No, it isn't really. I don't think so. With today's modern techniques and all, the recovery for a cesarean and for a normal delivery are nearly both the same. Because even after a cesarean, we're not telling you to take any bed rest. We're not changing your diet. We're not changing your medication. Our advice is always that the mother should be moving, that healing is better. She's moving and she's up and about. She's not lying down. We do not change the diet. So it doesn't really matter. Recovery time is roughly the same. It's only the will part.
Right.
So the first important thing is that the mother should not be disheartened. She should have that will part. She should enjoy her post-delivery period, enjoy her baby. A cesarean should not dishearten you in any way. And the recovery is going to be just the same.
And I truly resonate with you, and coming from my own personal experience, when people said no, after a cesarean you should be having a bed rest, because that's what our elders were advised to do. I was back home the third day. I was the one primary person who was changing the diapers of my daughter. Even fifth or sixth day, I even started giving her bath. Fourth day, I did a photo shoot for my daughter and I got screamed at by my elders. That's another story. And so when I do newborn shoots, the best newborn shoots happen when the baby is under 14 days.
Okay.
13th day, I was back in the studio. Of course, I was consulting with my doctor and she gave me a go-ahead. Everything was fine. So I was breastfeeding her, I was doing the shoot for her, and I was doing every single thing. So as ma'am said, it is willpower, and it's the love for yourself and the baby, which generally helps you sail through the pregnancy. Right, ma'am?
Yeah, true.
So, ma'am, it has been a very beautiful conversation because as couples, as parents to be, when we are planning for a baby, there are so many myths around it. And getting to know from you, I'm sure this is going to benefit a lot of parents.
Right.
So, ma'am, what's your message for that person who's going through her pregnancy journey right now?
So I think my message for anybody who's going through a pregnancy journey is that you must take care of yourself mentally, physically, and also to get the right kind of medical advice is very important. My advice is definitely please don't rely only on your social media and AI and everything. Take your doctor's help. If you have any queries, any questions, please get the right medical advice. Take care of yourself. Keep a very open mind when you're pregnant. And we get lots of advice in India from lots of people. But I think you have to concentrate on the medical advice that you take and take care of yourself. And I'm sure everything should work out to the best.
And as ma'am rightly said, trust your expert, trust the person you are going to, trust yourself. And if we have been given the ability to give birth to a child, we definitely have the ability to nurture the little one, bring him or her into this world. So take care, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode. And thank you, Dr. Preeti, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.